Oh. Yo, TJ Dalian and Amanda with the likes. I appreciate it, guys. Yo, what's up, Haley? Yo, what up, everybody? What you playing? I'm playing the beta. Dominate. Oh, like trying to find the right settings for. Looking for it. How's everybody been? My screen is black, really? Oh, I know why. I know why, guys. Why is my screen black? Hold up. I gotta figure this out real quick. Oh. Here we go. Now you guys are gonna be able to. Boom! No, it is. It's just I had to switch the where I was capturing the different games. So that's why. Not loud. What's up, TJ? I gotta get used to this. Not slide canceling. First time I'm playing this. Well, I play a little bit. Like I played like 2 games.
We are taking Bravo.
But the high sense is gonna fucking give me. Probably stream for a little bit. I'm gonna be doing a lot of next couple weeks out.
The enemy is
But then just hanging out with family.
reloading.
That's about it. What about you, Amanda? How do I get an assist for that, bro? And like I said, I gotta get really used to it. There's a way you can slide cancel, but I don't know what. So proud. Haley, how you been? It's been a minute. You don't play anymore. You don't hit me up anymore, Haley.
Our counter UAV is active. Secure Bravo. Enemy spotted. Friendly cruise missile.
Oh, what the fuck?
Friendly UAV online.
So what is my prox chat? Is there a specific setting for the prox chat?
We are losing Alpha. Securing Charlie. Charlie secure. Enemy took Alpha. Enemy UAV overhead.
Okay, this M4 is crazy.
Bravo. The enemy holds Bravo secure. UAV ready to deploy.
Oh, he was laying on the flag. Hey, once you get older,
Package in the area. Secure Bravo.
that actually like that thing makes my
Enemy securing Bravo.
once I get used to it, the game has potential. I don't know if like adding like games to this will make the game better.
Securing Alpha.
I feel like it should.
We are
I don't have any
Bravo.
classes.
Alpha.
Yeah, just sitting on top
Enemy
of C.
bomb drone is in the area.
Hello?
Objective Bravo secure. Enemy is taking Charlie. Hostile care package deployed. Enemy UAV active. Objective Charlie compromised. Take it back.
Ashanti with the fucking heart reaction and the fucking love reaction, man. I appreciate it.
Our UAV
How are you, brother?
in the area. We're getting hit hard. Hostile friendly Charlie UAV is online. Hostile UAV in the area. Two objectives secure.
Funny ops up. Alright.
Got you covered. Standing by.
The last few seconds are hot.
Mission failed. Return to base.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take a little time. A lot of people don't like it. With the fair reason. Um, I don't have anything locked. Turn it up one notch. We're gonna see how the game is.
Je sais que Gary, il va être prêt pour nous montrer que c'est encore un excellent joueur de hockey.
L'an dernier au Canadien, Joel Anderson, le premier jour du camp, on avait dit avant sa vie, plusieurs mois avec un malaise au dos. Est-ce que tu peux nous dire à son sujet aujourd'hui, on a parlé d'absence déterminée?
Terminé parce qu'on n'a pas assez de détails présentement. Fait qu'il se fait évaluer. Fait qu'un coup qu'on a plus une idée. Plus de détails.
Ça reste un joueur.
Ouais, c'est sûr. Toujours inquiète quand tes joueurs.
Enemy! Changing mag!
Securing Alpha.
Move back!
Alpha secure. We've lost Bravo.
Allô? Ça va toi?
Ça va, c'est fini?
Oui?
Ah, c'est très bon.
We're losing Alpha.
Bah là, je reviens du parc caché.
Sérieux, comment ça fait?
Je reviens du parc caché.
Enemy holds all
Et
objectives.
là, j'étais comment?
Ils sont comme, il y en a ça.
Il y a peu de temps.
Hein?
I know, but it's not the same, Joseph. How you
Un
been,
peu,
bro?
mais c'était pas si cool.
Ok, il y a beaucoup de choses.
Bah,
I
il y
don't think
en
it's the
avait.
same.
Quand je suis parti, il restait bien, il restait plus.
On va essayer
Oh, I thought that
encore
was him.
aujourd'hui.
Crazy.
Ça,
We control Alpha.
How you been,
là,
man?
j'ai fini bientôt, je vais aller la chercher.
Oh, we-
Puis après je sais pas. C'est notre carton.
Pourquoi? Félicitations! J'avais oublié. Et après, t'as perdu.
Et la fête à Brennan.
Honnêtement, j'en fais quand même oublier. C'est quand même une bonne anecdote. Mais, ok, ça fait que ça y comme des petites choses encore.
Ouais, probablement. Tu voulais faire quelque chose?
Mais moi, j'ai fini juste pour travailler, c'est comme jeune, là, parce que, genre, la raison, c'était même pas pour pourquoi, j'avais même pas d'idée en tête, c'est quelque chose avec
Good now.
juste pour voir,
Might be able to hear.
That'd be freaky.
I know, right? Like, god dang. All I heard was block, block. Yeah.
The enemy has captured all objectives. Take them back.
have your back.
Enemy UAV overhead. We're taking Alpha.
Ah, you know. You don't have the beta? But you just don't like multiple.
Fresh man.
It is very ratty. Why is he waiting for me?
Charlie.
Throwing flash!
Fresh mag.
Changing mags!
Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Charlie. Starsky.
Requesting recon flyover!
Copy that. UAV online and orbiting the AO. We're taking Bravo. Enemy is taking Alpha.
Facts.
The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back.
Well, I'm gonna start playing another. I'm excited for it too.
The enemy holds 2 objectives. Get this Bravo secure. Securing objective Charlie. Careful.
I mean, if I had my guns upgraded, I like so
Objective
many
Bravo is
things.
compromised. We're taking Charlie. Enemy securing Alpha. Charlie secure. The enemy took Alpha.
Enemy! Throwing flash! Switching mags!
Not an option.
On your six!
The bunny hop seems fucking OP though.
Securing objective Alpha. Hardline online.
Trophy system out!
Alpha secure.
Covering your six.
Objective Charlie.
Hopping.
Objective Charlie secure. Standing by. Enemy UAV active.
That's good, man, Joseph. Wait, what's your PR on fortunes? Rebirth is just that to me. Such a difference playing. When I played multiplayer all my life, I was uncomfortable.
Switching mags. 2 objectives secure. Friendly UAV online. Trojan 6 cruise missile away. Enemy No hit. Target still. Ready to launch.
Reloading!
UAV is on station. Enemy securing Charlie. Objective Charlie. Taking
Oh.
back.
7 or 8 kills, nice. Well, this is the weekend. Everybody's on this beta right now, so not to break that PR, brother.
Time.
Why can I hear
Enemy is taking
the
Alpha.
team? Proxy chat not a thing in
Friendly cruise missile inbound. Take them back.
Jesus, man, look at you, bro.
We're taking Alpha. We control Alpha.
I'm so glad you guys were able to find a good squad together.
Flash out! Switching mags!
We're taking Charlie. Losing Alpha. We control Charlie. Securing objective Bravo. We've lost Alpha. Objective Bravo secure. Enemy taking Charlie.
Your mom still suck dick, faggot.
We've lost Charlie. Securing objective Alpha. Friendly care package in the AO. We're losing Bravo. We're getting hit hard. Objective Alpha secure.
Wait, what? Just a think of the share. I appreciate it, brother.
Securing Alpha. Objective Alpha is compromised. Taking back. Copy that. Tiger 4 inbound.
On your 6.
There's two going
Good
on.
effect. Enemy UAV overhead. Securing Charlie. We've lost our objective. Failure's not an
What do you
option.
think this?
Mission failed. Return to base. We control 2 objectives. Domination. Capture and hold the objective to win. Friendly UAV on station.
Got your cover.
Fuck!
Enemy is securing Bravo. We are losing Charlie. Enemy is securing Charlie. Friendly SAE launched. Fast hands online. All objectives secure. Expect counterattack. Enemy is taking Charlie. The enemy took Charlie. Friendly cruise missile deployed. Enemy is securing Alpha.
Probably do not see him unless I had a
Our
scope or.
UAV is orbiting the area. We are losing Bravo. Bravo is compromised. Take it back. Charlie. Take friendly UAV on station. Enemy secured Bravo. Objective Charlie secure. Yes. You've lost Bravo. Our UAV is orbiting the area. We are taking Bravo.
Request recon flyover.
Bravo secure.
I push up for a second and
Enemy is securing Charlie.
what the fuck?
Change your mag.
Throwing center.
Charlie. Hold all objectives. Keep them objectives compromised. Take it back. Enemy is taking Bravo. Friendly entry online. Enemy took Bravo. Friendly care package inbound. Securing objective Bravo. No UAV in the area.
What's your rush?
We are taking Bravo. Friendly person online. Enemy is taking Alpha. We are losing Bravo. Securing Charlie. Enemy UAV active. Enemy is taking Bravo. We control all objectives. Maintain. Enemy is securing Alpha. We are losing Alpha. Enemy is securing Charlie. Hostile UAV in the area.
Flash grenade.
What?
Enemy is taking Charlie. We are losing Charlie. We've got them on the run. Keep it up. Enemy took Charlie. UAV online.
Flash out. Switching max.
Securing objective Charlie. Mission is complete. Good work.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm in real quick. Let's watch this.
I was just so tired of feeling bad. But then I realized they still love me. Now I'm really gonna have some fun.
Boys, Warzone 2 is looking rough. Now, I'm a very optimistic guy. I want the best for this game. I actually have a video coming out later this week of top 10 amazing changes coming from Warzone 1 to Warzone 2. There's some cool features, new mechanics that nobody is talking about because it's getting eclipsed by some very legitimate concerns, and we're going to be covering a lot of that today. Fortunately, I was able to go out to Call of Duty Next in LA and get my hands on Warzone 2. Got a lot of gameplay on it. I got a second place game, a third place game, and then I got knocked out pretty early in the third game, but I got some reps on this game. I've been reviewing gameplay of my peers, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. If you guys are interested in all things Warzone, Warzone 2, make sure to drop a like and subscribe here. But without further ado, let's get into number 1. This will be in no particular order, so let's go ahead and start with number 1. So the number 1 thing right now is movement. It is clunky, boys. It feels bad. I understand slowing things down a little bit, feeling a little bit more grounded in the gameplay, and I actually really agree with them with getting rid of slide canceling. Dude, our fingers hurt after playing for such a long time, whether it's mouse and keyboard or controller. We're having to do this exploit all game to reset our tac sprint or to get our gun up for, you know, faster sprint to fire. However, I agree with getting rid of slide canceling, but I want there to be a movement skill gap. So what does that mean? Well, it means they're doing it completely opposite. They've gotten rid of slide canceling, and they're also punishing you for sliding, for dolphin diving, or for sprinting around the map. The sprint out time to get that gun up after you've been sprinting, or after you slide, or after you dolphin dive, the amount of time that it takes you to actually start shooting after you do that movement is ridiculously long. We can have a movement skill gap, a movement meta without slide canceling. So don't get it twisted. I want a high skill gap game, but I don't want finger breaking Tekken Konami code, you know, slide cancel macros all the time, right? So what we need to do is we need to make it faster sprint outs, faster sprint to fire with shooting and sliding, faster sprint to fire with dolphin diving, and then on top of that, I think we need to have a longer time to kill, because if you're rewarding the person that has their gun up, if someone flies into that room and there's this really long sprint out time, they're always going to lose the gunfight. We need to allow the time to kill to be a little bit longer, so that way you can break aim assist and that person starts missing some shots, and the overall more skilled player who's putting in movement, who has peeker's advantage, who can hit their shots for longer, is going to win. Right now, it is literally pre-aim simulator, and it's going to be very, very boring to play. All right, number 2. The number 2 worst change is loadouts. Now, I'm actually a little bit mixed on this one, and let me kind of talk you through it. So I haven't talked to a developer about it, but let me kind of cue you into what I think that they're thinking. What's the number 1 thing that we complain about when we're playing Warzone? Oh, dude, the meta, this gun, 0 recoil, fastest time to kill. Everyone within the first circle is picking up a loadout with not only insane perks, not even getting into that, but they're perfectly kitted out J-God, or they're perfectly kitted out Iceman Isaac, close range, primary and secondary. And then everyone's running through the map with this insane time to kill, 0 recoil, perfect meta weapon. Well, when we take loadouts out of the game that are given to us, now all of a sudden we're getting more to a pure BR. We can still go to the buy station, we can still buy loadouts, but on the con side, if people have a certain play style or they have a gun that they really want to use, they don't want to have to like venture the entire map to find that one gun that they're comfortable with. Or if there's something that's completely unbalanced, now it's okay, not only do I get that guaranteed from my loadout, well, maybe I'll be looting for 30 minutes and I can't find it, but I'm going to die to Timmy who has it in the corner. So there are pros and cons to the loadout change. You know, what I think potentially could be a good change is if they bring competitive down the road, make it more of a purist battle royale. But while we're still playing pubs, like, we're not making this a competitive game. Obviously with, you know, the movement changes that we're making, it might be worth bringing back the loadouts, at least in that more pure sense. But overall, it's going to get really weird, man. It used to be $10,000 would get everyone their loadout. 8 guns if you're playing in a squad of 4 people. Everyone would get their primary and secondary of their dream. Right now, some of the guns inside of these buy stations are 10K alone or 15K. So what's that going to result in? It's going to result in a lot of selfish teammates who aren't compiling money for a team loadout. They're going to be greeding money so that way they can get their gun. It's going to cause a lot of conflicts, kind of some weird vibes. And I think the community wants loadouts. And even though my competitive sense doesn't like it, because I think players should be forced to use harder, more difficult to use ground loot weapons, I think the public sentiment might win on this one, and you should keep it purist if you have a competitive ranked mode in the future. Number 3. The number 3 worst change that they made was the AI bot system. Listen, I think it's kind of cool, okay? Especially in the DMZ mode when you're actually going into raids in the middle of the night and you're trying to fight all these enemies and maybe a couple players. But in Battle Royale, man, it's a troll. It's so annoying to be trying to working your way through the map and you go into a building and you kill someone and you think it's another player, then you realize it's a bot. But guess what? You just showed up on the minimap or your gunshots went off and now it's going to be third-party central. I think they should do the AI bot system only in Stronghold, similar to how other BRs do it, to where there's an insane reward. Let's say if you go into that, Stronghold and you take them out, you get a whole bunch of money, or you get your guaranteed loadout weapons, or you get an advanced UAV or something really badass. But having them just scattered throughout the entire map, like you'll see this clip here when I pop a UAV, there's like 3 people, but there's like 30 bots. And it's really annoying as you're trying to make your way through the map. I think it can be done well. I think, they don't necessarily belong in battle royales, but if we're going to do them, let's keep them in a Stronghold location and possibly have it to where they only like aggro if you enter in like a perimeter compound, or if you start shooting at them first, then they'll aggro on you. So that way, if you're trying to regain, you're trying to sneak your way through the map, you don't get trolled by some bots or AI. I don't know if they're doing this because they're trying to up player engagement. When we played at Call of Duty Next, there was 100 players. And it would even show in your end game, it was like player kills and then operator kills or like AI kills or whatever it is. I'll show the end game up on screen here. And I'm really afraid this seems like an Infinity Ward move of, you didn't get any player kills, but look at all these bots that you killed. You did it. And I think they might be doing that for that reason. Battle Royales are cutthroat, man. If you win one gunfight in a Battle Royale, guess what? You got a 1 KD. You're a demon. Okay, we don't need to be holding hands in a Battle Royale. Give that more for the DMZ vibes, the campaign vibes. But what really scares me is I think this could be used to increase player engagement. So we're fighting less players, but they're keeping the server size smaller so that way the servers are more stable. But then the players still feel like they're getting engagement, even though they're not in as many player versus player engagements. I think that might be what they're trying to do here. But dude, literally the novelty wore off within the first game. Like this novelty is going to wear off really quick when you're playing a battle royale and people are going to get sick of it. They're going to get sick and they're going to get annoyed of bots. They're not going to enjoy it as a part of the experience like they would in DMZ when the bots are, really kitted out, really dangerous, and you're having to play tactical through the entire map. I think they need to be reworked. Number 4. A lot of people have already addressed this, so I'm not going to address it too long, but it is looting. Looting is bad. Okay, when people say that they loved Blackout, and I feel like the devs heard that, or when people say that they loved Apex, they're taking like the worst parts out of those games. We loved Blackout because it had longer time to kill. It had smooth and fluid movement. The guns had recoil and slower bullet velocity, so you weren't getting beamed from across the map. That is what we loved about Blackout, on top of jetpacks and grapple guns. But this bag looting system, it's going to be good for mouse and keyboard players, I'll be honest, but it's going to be really clunky. Even after the learning curve, it's not going to be clean. And it just doesn't make sense to me. One of the best things about Warzone, coming from a Blackout player, was I didn't have to focus on picking up ammo. Same thing with Apex. One of the most annoying things about Apex is like, oh, I'm running out of light ammo, and you have to go through every single bag. We're doing it right. I would much rather have us do the Warzone system where it's kind of like the vomit loot where you kill someone and all the loot just kind of comes out, but maybe like refine it a little bit. Do like what Fortnite does. When all the loot hits the ground, Fortnite's items have like a buffer that they all separate, so that way they're not stacked on top of each other. Shout out to all the times you were trying to pick up an armor satchel and you couldn't pick up an armor satchel. This needs to be refined. Certain things I don't think belong in trying to hold. Like, I would much rather just have the standard 5 plates, and then you have a satchel, and then you can hold 8 plates. I think the backpack system could be cool in some ways, right? So if you have a backpack, you can have, you know, 2 claymores that you keep in your backpack, and you have Simtexes while you're running out and about, and you get set up in your building, you throw some claymores down. Me, as an aggressive player, I'm gonna hate that, but like, that could be cool. Or you hold like onto 2 smoke grenades, so if you have to cross out in the open, you can throw the smoke grenades, but then still have Simtexes or throwing knives, or have stims and snapshots. And there's all these really cool, like, high level, high skill gap tactical stuff that we could be doing with the backpack. But I think we need to remove some things, like the self-revive, just give it to us. The armor plates, put it back in our hands. Ammo, put it back in our hands, because it feels really clunky, and more people are just going to spend time dying with their heads down in their backpack rather than actually looting quick and getting into engagements, which is what this game is all about. All right, number 5, the Gulag. It's bad. Listen, I was one of the people that said we should do gulags where it's like 2v2. Let's say you get a team wipe and you're playing duos and your team gets wiped and there's another team that's available. You get into a 2v2 gulag. Well, part of that is risky because it's going to cause the lobbies to die out quicker, right? Because it's guaranteed that one team is getting full wiped when you do something like that. So I kind of like the idea of you playing with other people, but at the end of the day, I don't think people mind gulags. I know we have to change things up to progress the game forward.
If you had a choice, would you rather pay $12 for this cheese grater on Amazon or pay less than $2?
But people didn't mind the concept of a 1v1 gulag. Most of the time, what we screwed up was the map. We'd have horrible lighting, horrible audio. We would have, you know, gas and thermals and lighting issues that makes it feel like it's not a fair 1v1. And not to mention the way we're doing the gulag in the Warzone 2 currently is you don't start off with a gun. You start off with your fist, and then you have to run. If I run to the right and I get a pistol, and my opponent runs to the left and gets an SMG, now all of a sudden it's not a fair 1v1. We flipped a coin, and he just happened to get better loot. Gulags should be where men are made, fundamental, and women, whatever, you know, 2022. You know, it's where the player proves that they deserve to get back into the war zone, right? And so give people fair guns, make it a fair 1v1. I'm open to the idea of team wipes doing 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, because then it's like a fair squad gunfight. You're not playing with a random person, even though that means the lobbies will get wiped quicker. I think that'd be cool. But right now, the way they have it, with the 2v2 random weapons, there's also AIs inside the gulag. Like, what are we doing here? It doesn't feel right. And then getting the key and then running to the exit, it feels weird. It feels weird. I think... I've never been a big fan of the capture the flag mechanic. I've always thought it would be cool if there was like almost like a gas mechanic as well, where you would take damage inside of the gulag, like the gulag walls would like close in and you would take damage from that rather than whoever's camping on the flag. But I think anything's better than whatever we have right now with this 2v2 with AIs capturing the key. It just doesn't work out well. Number 6, buy stations. I was watching Repulse Hector. He made a great video. The buy stations right now are clunky. We've got 3 different menus, and you're spending a lot of time navigating through those menus. I think one way we could clean up the menu is just going L1 or R1 to go into the different separate subfolders of when we're buying like UAVs and armor plates and all of our utility, and press R1. Now we're going over to buying our loadout gun. I personally like the idea of having to buy each individual gun, so that way it's not when I pick up on my loadout, I have the best SMG and the best long range. I kind of have to pick one or the other and find more money, and it's going to take me longer to get my god tier loadout. I like that. I'm more of a purist BR. Obviously, that's going back to the loadout conversation we had earlier, but the loadout buy station is clunky. On top of that, they provided a global limit to the buy station. So here's an example. I roll up to this buy station, right? I get a couple kills. I'm moving in, and I hear like enemy UAV, and I start to run up to the buy station. I'm really, paranoid because I just heard a UAV go up. But then when I go to the buy station to buy my own UAV, it's out of stock because the previous team had just bought and popped their UAV. I think buy stations shouldn't have a global limit. They should have a team limit. I kind of like the idea, right? Especially since we don't have Ghost. We want to prevent this UAV spam nonstop because players will get hunted. I know that's not what Infinity Ward wants, but I think it should be limited to individual players, not to the global count as well. All right, number 7, it's quality of life and UI improvements. This one's going to be kind of quick, but we we took a step back from a lot of the changes that we had improved on throughout Warzone and, you know, all of Caldera. So, like, for example, we don't have anything that shows our team total for cash, so we don't know how much cash we have. Now, granted, we're not buying UAV or loadouts, but it's still useful to have that information. Well, we can't see whether or not our teammates have gulags. It'll show whether or not they have a self-revive, but it doesn't show gulag. It doesn't show kill streaks, air streaks. It doesn't show gas mask. It doesn't show how many plates they have. All of this great information to help us play as a team is gone. Also, in terms of like UI, like check out this end game. I'm rotating towards the end game. I'm trying to get really sweaty. I'm working my way up to try to win this game. And the UI is literally like right above my crosshair, blocking my view for a lot of, whether it's, you know, enemy airstrikes or a circle is closing. Like, you're blocking my UI. That needs to be pushed way up, needs to be made smaller. I know a lot of new people are going to be coming to Warzone 2, but we don't need to hold people's hands so much anymore. Battle Royales have been around for like 5 years prominently and like a decade historically. We don't need to be blasting it on our screen and ruining the player experience. What is nice though is I didn't hear a announcer in my ear. It would make like the little like bong whenever the zone was starting to close, but it wasn't like gas is closing, soldier, time to move in. So that was kind of nice that that was gone. I don't know if that's intentional or if that's going to make it to beta, but I always hated that announcer in my ear in the middle of a gunfight. So hopefully that stays. Okay, other things that we're missing out on that we got from Warzone 2, or that we had in Warzone. There are no redeploys. Like, it's pretty tough to move around the map, and the vehicles are kind of clunky. That's a little honorable mention. The vehicles felt really floaty. But there's no redeploy balloons. There's no portable redeploy balloons. There's even no portable buy stations that I saw as well. And it's a big, beautiful open map, but you're moving around a little slow, as we already talked about, and we don't have the mobility to get around the map. They need to add those back in to help the flow of the map. All right, number 8 is the armor system. Once again, we kind of tapped on that earlier. One thing that Blackout did really well was you could see when someone had level 3 armor. So you knew when you were going to shoot at them, like, okay, this guy's going to be a little bit tankier. Warzone doesn't have that. Right now they have, you start out the map with 2 plates, and then eventually if you find a 3 armor satchel or something along those lines, you can put on 3 plates. One, there's no indicator for whether or not you're shooting at someone that has 3 plates that it'll let you know. But on top of that, it really just slows down the pace of the game. And it's really awkward because you can loot a 3 armor plate and put it on yourself, and you can loot another 3 armor plate, but instead of it giving you plates, it'll just put the actual vest in your backpack. So you have a vest in your backpack, which could kind of be cool because you could drop that off your teammates. Let's say your teammate doesn't have an armor satchel. You could run over, drop it out of your backpack. Now he has an armor satchel. But I would, once again, prefer to go back to the system where just let us start off with 2 plates. If we find a plate on the ground, throw that bad boy in. And then the armor vest allows us to carry more plates. I would still like to pick up 2 armor vests because then that means I can bring one to my teammate. But let's not overcomplicate things by putting 3 plates in our backpack. And we'll get more to that in a second. But another little bonus thing is, like, when we're putting in plates, we move into slow-mo. We can't run while we're putting in plates. So now all of a sudden the game feels like Apex, where if you've ever played Apex and you've gotten shot in Apex, you're stuck and you're just like popping that shield battery and hoping you don't get pushed. The finesse, the outplay, that's what we love about Warzone, especially since time to kill is so quick. If we get cracked, we got to get the heck out of Dodge and start throwing those plates in. But right now, it's if you get cracked, you're screwed. And I really hope
Tyler,
they
thanks
bring
for like
that back moving forward. All right, number 9.
Video Isaac
to Warzone 2 is the new spectator. They try
Isaac,
to do some hyper realism, over the shoulder, like, you know, SWAT camera thing where you've got
talking
their
about
helmet cam
Warzone
and you can watch it from their perspective, and it just looks awkward. I can see how it would be cool in the campaign for like a cutscene or something, but at least make it toggle where we can toggle back and forth between the two, because when we're watching someone, we want to see their perspective. We want to see how they're moving, how they're aiming, how they're centering. This is how we help our teammates. It's also how we roast our teammates when they're missing shots, which is maybe their intent behind it, but it's a lot more enjoyable to watch from the main crosshairs. All right, honorable mentions before we get into number 10. And number 10, I'm going to be a little bit passionate about. So some things that I want to include. The balance still seems pretty off. Okay, first off, stuns. Once again, we're dealing with a game where our time to kill is less than a second, but stuns last for like 4 seconds. We need to nerf stuns in a battle royale if we aren't going to have perks. I also hate this idea that we have perk counterplay where it's like, oh, just use high alert and that'll counter dead silence, or just use battle hardened if you don't like stunts. Like, No, let's just create a balanced baseline battle royale and stop this perk counterplay. But it looks like they're getting rid of perks for the most part, so that means they need to balance these. Flashes are, I mean, I don't mind so much because at least flashes I can move around. Stuns, they're just as OP. The Infinity Ward loves to make them for free kills for everyone, but I hope they tone them back for battle royale. Another thing of balance, shotguns, including semi-automatic shotguns that are in the alpha right now, were one-shot kills. Okay, I understand shotguns need to be effective at close range. I understand shotguns are very deadly in real life, but this game isn't about realism, okay? Your health doesn't just regenerate in real life. You can't pull your shoot in an instant. There's a lot of things about this game that are not realistic. And shotguns, first off, shotguns can't even penetrate, nonetheless, through 3 plates of ceramic plates. It's bad, boys. Okay, my first ever game of Warzone, you'll see the clip here. Warzone 2, I get 1 pumped with full plates and full health. It also happened to Unrational, full plates, full health. I think shotguns need to be devastating close range, but I think the only thing in a battle royale, period dot, that should be one shot, one kill is a high skill gap sniper. One shot headshot, so you got a tight spot you need to hit as opposed to just center mass. It's got limited ammo capacity, right? Right now we have basically unlimited ammo for snipers in Warzone 1, but that's a sidebar. And it requires precision, a headshot, right? And if you miss, it's got a slow rate of fire and you're going to get slammed. Semi-automatic shotguns, one-shotting, that's going to be a really rough time in this game. Another honorable mention. I don't like it, but it is realistic, is reloading. Okay, so the way they have the reloads in the game right now is if you start shooting, and let's say you have 25 out of 30 bullets in your magazine. If you were to start the reload, but before that magazine comes out, you were to YY, you can instantly go back to shooting. But if you were to put that, you know, hit the mag release and that mag comes out, once that mag is out and you YY, you're now putting in a new magazine, completely new magazine. It's as if you drop that partially expended mag on the floor. And a lot of players don't like that because they'll start to reload, they'll hear footsteps, they'll YY, and they'll start shooting. When that magazine comes out, you cannot weapon swap anymore. Also, let's say you completely mag dump, 0 out of 30 rounds, 0 in the chamber. You drop the magazine, you put the magazine in, and typically we would YY and then start shooting. Now, as is realism, and a lot of people don't like that, when you put that magazine in and you YY, it still remembers that I don't have a bullet in the chamber, and you have to press the bolt release or you have to rack the slide before you actually have that weapon available or that bullet available to shoot. I'm kind of mixed on it. I think I could get used to it. It's been a thing for the last decade, you know, and so realism versus gameplay, I don't think most people are going to appreciate what's happening internally in their gun anyways. I think this is maybe a little bit of a step too far, especially when it's something like once that magazine drops and I try to YY, I'm just, you know, SOL. But it's an honorable mention for that reason because I appreciate what they're trying to do. The number 10 worst change that they have going into Warzone 2 is actually a lack of a change. It is something that has been an issue in Warzone for 3 years, and they still haven't figured it out. It has cost me my life hundreds, honestly, of times at this point. Okay, and it's 2 things that they still haven't gotten right. It's the gas mask animation 1, and it's the old school gas mask animation in Warzone 2. You can't toggle it. If you're in the middle of doing anything, it interrupts everything. Dude, the gas in Warzone is one of the most powerful gases in like any battle royale. Okay, we have options to outplay it with stims and gas masks and personal decontamination stations, which aren't even in the game that I saw either. But our disadvantage in the gas is that visibility is awful, which I've always hated. I don't think gas should take away that much visibility. We're taking flinch damage from the gas because it hurts and it hits like a truck. I don't need something if I'm just, you know, the gas just right at the back of my head. In the middle of a gunfight, I just need to win this gunfight, then I'm in the free, I'm gonna win, and... Oh, hang on 1 second.
A house or a laptop? Which one do you think is worth more? Well, definitely not the house, because it not only costs millions...
It's a terrible mechanic. No player enjoys using it. It doesn't provide a skill gap. It's an intrusive mechanic that should just be passive, happening in the background, where I can be in the gunfight, and then as soon as I hit the gas, the little, like, goggles appear on my HUD, and that's it. That's a disadvantage in itself because it kind of reduces my visibility. But the idea that we still have it. The other thing that we still have, auto mantle. It's still there, boys. They need to add a setting that says while I am aimed down sight, I cannot mantle. Period. There's never been a gunfight in my life where I've wanted to be aiming down sight and I'm bunny hopping, or I want to be aimed down sight and I'm trying to jump, or I'm trying, and it grabs onto anything. The little step stool, like little tight, 6-inch footstool on the map, or the 6-foot wall that I'm gonna drop the gunfight and start mantling up on top of. They have not fixed auto mantle. They need to add a setting. If I'm aimed down sight, mantling does not happen, because still happens no matter what settings you set, and it's really disappointing, and I hope it doesn't make it into the final game. So we've wrapped up our 10 worst changes heading into Warzone 2. Now, we have a video coming out later this week of 10 amazing things, and they are legitimately badass mechanics, new features that no one is talking about, because we've all are, glaringly focused on all of the things that I've just mentioned. But I'm optimistic, okay? They didn't even have to show us the alpha. The game is still over 2 months out from release. At the time that I'm recording this, it's just under 2 months. So props to them for giving us that early access. It is an alpha, okay? Even Modern Warfare 2, the multiplayer, it's in beta. And that game's beta looks better than any of the Modern Warfare 2019 beta, the Cold War beta, the Vanguard beta. It looks pretty good. Now, it's up to Infinity Ward to prove whether or not they're going to listen to the community. Right now, it's not looking promising, I'll be honest. But if we just continue to make videos like this as creators and as communities and voice our concerns, and not just, oh, this game is dead on arrival or Warzone is dead, say what we want and why we want.
Play a couple more and then we're gonna go work.
Total conductorial. Shut the fuck up.
Capture and secure the objectives. Secure Bravo. Objective Bravo secure. We have the lead. Our UAV is already in the area. Securing Alpha. Alpha secure.
Reloading!
Ready for tasking.
Switching back! Requesting recon flyover!
Copy that. UAV is on station.
Damn, my sensor is way too high, bro.
All objectives secure.
Semtex out!
There's a guy just lying right there like that.
Changing back. Throwing Semtex.
Enemy is securing Charlie. We have the lead. Fast hands.
Changing back.
Carson, bot, what are you doing?
Charlie secure. We've secured the lead. Friendly UAV on station.
Switching back.
We are losing Bravo. We have secured 2 objectives. Objective Bravo is compromised. Securing objective Bravo.
Semtex out.
Securing objective Bravo. Go Bravo. Enemy is taking Bravo. Enemy took Bravo. Enemy UAV online. We are taking Alpha. Friendly UAV on station. The enemy controls 2 objectives. Push the offensive. We are losing Charlie. Hardline active. Secure
Throwing
Bravo.
Semtex.
UAV ready to deploy.
Requesting recon flyover.
Copy. UAV. We are taking Bravo secure. Standing by. UAV is being fuel. RTB at this time. Enemy UAV active. Enemy. We've lost half the field. Fight back. The enemy.
Got you covered. Flash ready. Changing back.
Wysoki. The enemy has captured 2 objectives.
Requesting
Securing
recon
Alpha.
flyover.
Copy that. On station.
Blast out. Loading. Reloading.
Be advised. Objective Charlie secure. Enemy securing Bravo. Take securing objective Alpha. We control Alpha. Objective Charlie. objectives. Push the offensive.
Up my hair. And the movement is not my favorite.
Enemy is securing Alpha. Friendly UAV online. We are losing Alpha. Securing Charlie. Thing. We have lost all objectives. Failure to secure Bravo.
All back you
Go
up.
on, Charlie.
Alright, y'all. Call it there. I'll see you guys tomorrow probably. We'll see. Have a good one. I have to go to work, unfortunately. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day. Love you all.